Okay, right. It's down. I think we're recording.
Ah, good. Right, I'm going to tell you something straight away.
Hello, friend.
Pav. Sorry. I need to tell you this because, as you may know, I'm not always the most macho of men.
I don't know why. I don't know why you would say that.
But I was overcome with a bit of bravery today, so I ended up.
See, just that.
Yeah.
That sounds implausible right from the start.
No, it's true.
I was overcome with a. You said it, camp.
Well, sorry, but I did. I was brave because
Okay.
I ended up going to the cinema today for reasons to do. Long story, but
There's a film on.
Well, I had like 5 hours spare to waste in one location. The only thing there is a McDonald's, a KFC, a cinema, a Matalan, and sort of like big chain shops. And that's it.
Which I'd be doing.
So yeah,
KFC.
Oh, was it? No. I was a good boy.
5 hours.
No, I was a good boy, and I went to the cinema and I watched Shazam. So I'm in there, and it was like a 10:30 in the morning showing, and it was quite busy, but not many kids. But there was a woman or a girl down the front who was consistently using her phone, but not like trying to hide it. She was right blatant and lighting up the thing. So I was sat above and it was annoying me. Then everybody started to like go, oh, every time she got it out. Oh.
So was there loads of people there?
No, it's quite a lot. Yeah, for 10:30 in the morning.
What film was you going to see?
Shazam. It was quite busy. I thought it'd be more kids, but it was, I would say, young adults. There was a couple of older people in there, and I think they were on
Hang on, you young hipster.
No,
what do you
but
mean by older?
Well, I wouldn't. I mean, if I say they were in their 70s and they were younger, I've done them a disservice. But if they were older, I've been kind. I would say in their 70s.
Superhero movies, old people can like them too. You know.
No, but the OAP, screening was on in the other where you come and watch a film for £1 and have a cup of tea or whatever.
Right.
I wondered if they walked into the wrong screen. But anyway. So this woman got this phone and everybody was sighing. So in the end, I was so fucked off, I just went, excuse me, do you mind looking at your phone while the film's on? Really loud. It come out.
So how old was this
the woman
woman?
Was probably, but she put it away. But I was from a distance, young adult or sort of early 20s. Yeah, she put it away.
Well done. Round
I
of
spoke
applause.
for the masses. Bravery overcame me. I didn't. Normally, I get fucked off and just do the English thing where you just sit there and go.
I really thought you were going to say that she had a Spider-Man outfit on and she
Oh,
got
no,
up and
that was a one in a
She did a
lifetime.
somersault.
But I felt really brave afterwards. I was
done.
like, yes, I'll try that again, but I'll probably get stabbed or.
I was going to say, so the question is now, if it was like a group of 4 or 5 18, 19-year-old boys, blokes, would you have done the same thing?
If I was sat that far away in the dark when there was quite a few people, possibly. Do you see what I mean? I was hidden away, so she didn't know where that voice came from because I was like on row. Yeah, but I shouldn't admit to this, but I was on like row S, and she was right down sort of the first row before you go down to the flat of the
So you
stalls.
said what you had to say, and then you ducked back into your seat.
No. I did. I stayed there, but she didn't look around. She put it away, and it never came out again.
I mean, to me, it is one of my absolute. I'm terrible for. I hate bad customer service.
Yeah.
It's one of my Room 101 things.
Yeah, I'm with you
so,
on that.
if you phone somebody up to complain about something and they're bad or somebody, I know it shouldn't affect anybody if you're watching a film, but if you see somebody keep getting their phone out,
It winds me up.
I just don't understand it.
Because it's so dark in there. It glows
Of course
so
it does.
bright.
And it captures, and all you end up doing is not looking at what's on the screen.
Yeah.
You keep your eyes, I mean, I don't know if I'm different to everybody else, but your eyes are constantly looking at it.
It was doing it to me, and obviously it was doing to the other patrons in there because they were all sighing. You could hear them. I could hear them sighing or moaning or tutting, doing what I usually do when somebody starts a conversation.
Yeah. So how was it?
What, Shazam?
Yeah.
Really good.
Was it?
Really good. I'd give it. We do the 5 toes from previous years. I'd give it 4 toes.
Okay.
Yeah, really good. If
Well,
you
that
like
seems to be
Big,
consistent with if you like Big.
yeah, the film Big.
Right.
It's. I wouldn't say it's like Big, but there's similarities to Big.
Does Shazam shag Elizabeth Perkins?
No.
No.
There's no shaganigans in it.
That almost worked.
Yeah, it almost worked. No, there wasn't any of that sort of thing. It's quite a bit of, at the beginning, what I would say quite frightening for younger viewers in it.
Okay.
So if I would say 8 and younger might prove to be a little scary for them. And the length might sort of challenge children because it's well over 2 hours. It's like 134 minutes, I think. But I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. It's really well written. There's nothing new in it. That
No.
do you know what I mean? You've seen that sort of premise, but because everyone was so strong, it was well directed, and it was just a proper family film. Yeah, I'd go and see it in a heartbeat again.
Yeah?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah, really.
That's fair enough, because the
enjoyed it.
thing is, it's all ramping up to... I saw today, and, you know, we decided we're going to chat about anything and everything, whatever's in. And we were lucky enough, what was it, 2015 to go to Star Wars Celebration? Was it 2015? 2016. That was at Earl's Court.
Yeah, no, it was at the XL Centre in the City of London.
City of London. And it was fantastic, wasn't it? I mean, for, what was it, 3 days we did?
Well, we got there Thursday night, didn't we?
And it went on till Sunday.
Friday, so it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday was that's right, the celebration.
So the way they did the panels was literally you just had to queue up. And if you were in the... I mean, we got there at 6 o'clock in the morning for some panels, didn't we?
Well, the first day we got there at 6, and we managed to get the panels we wanted.
Yeah.
That was Rogue One, wasn't it?
It was Rogue One, and also either Mark Hamill or Carrie Fisher, wasn't it?
It was Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill. Because we got there and we thought we'll get there at 6 o'clock, but there was already
massive
hundreds of people.
And people had been there all night, they said, because they brought pizza out to them and that, didn't
so
they?
we were... I think we did that for 2 of the days, didn't we? Then one day we didn't bother doing it.
It was Saturday. We decided not to do a panel. We wanted to see the whole celebration.
Yeah. So as we're recording this, it's the Star Wars Celebration starts tomorrow.
It does.
In Chicago.
With the Episode 9 panel.
Episode 9 panel with the Mandalorian panel. There's a panel about Galaxy's Edge, which is going to give loads of stuff away, apparently, about that. Did you see the way they're doing the panels these days? This particular one?
No.
They're doing it by a lottery.
Oh, fuck.
So I've been looking online, and basically you email or you wherever it is you have to go on the website to put in for whichever panels you want, and then you get an email back saying yes, you've got into the panel, or no, you haven't, or there's an overflow area or something like that. And apart from the fact that I can see that there's loads of people that have been getting rejection emails, they've also been getting confirmation emails for the same thing. But somebody made a really good point, and they were saying, like, when they I think it was for the one Anaheim, they did the same thing. They queued overnight. They got there at 8 o'clock at night, and then Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams came out and gave them pizza, and then Anthony Daniels had a walk around in the morning, and he said that all that's gone now.
Yeah.
You know, it was so much fun because, you know, people weren't pissed off that they had to wait. It was part of the experience that they're going to be, they're all there together. I mean, we had a great time. You know, we were doing quizzes
we did the
and
quizzes,
everything.
didn't we?
We were doing quizzes with people.
And just chatting to everybody.
Yeah, and it just looks like it's become too big now because there's going to be thousands of people there. And I suppose the difference between Star Wars Celebration and say, San Diego Comic-Con, which is arguably the biggest Comic-Con that there is with that one, with San Diego Comic-Con, you've got so many different things. So somebody might be a Marvel fan, someone might be a DC fan, someone might be a TV fan. So it's all spread out. Whereas with Star Wars, everybody is there because they love Star Wars. So it's like everybody wants an Episode 9 to get into that panel, and everybody wants to get into the Mandalorian panel, and
is Ryan Johnson doing a panel? I mean, I read somewhere that it was rumoured he might be.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me because he's just been announced that he's directing the first movie of the Game of Thrones guys trilogy.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So whether or not that is his trilogy as well, I haven't seen whether they're talking about whether or not he's still. Yeah, but he's been confirmed that he's directing, and that's supposed to be Old Republic. So that's supposed to be going back like 1,000 years to when the Jedi and the Sith
We've been
started.
talking that. Well, I mean, we talked about that many moons ago.
But it's so somebody else also. I was looking at a lot of the comments, and they're getting a lot of blowback about it because someone was saying that I've spent thousands and thousands to get plane tickets, hotels, tickets to get to the actual convention or the celebration. Just to get an Episode 9, to get in the Episode 9 panel, and I've got an email back saying that I'm not there now. Said, so it's wasted. What's the point of me going?
Yeah.
And I suppose they're in between a rock and a hard place, aren't they? But they need this to be a goodwill celebration after the last couple of years where it's been very divisive. You know, the last thing you want to do is piss more people off. But then again, I suppose are you gonna please everybody. I don't think you are. That's the
Well, that's the thing, is it? But with queuing, at least you know.
Well, you've got a good chance. haven't you? We had that thing, didn't we? We were counting people in front of us, trying to see how many hundreds of people were in front of us. So we thought, will we get in? And we were lucky. We got into every panel we wanted to go to.
Didn't we? But we had that was dedication. I mean, even, for us. I mean, was it the Sunday? We got there even earlier, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
The 6 o'clock.
We did. And think what there was, because the other thing, like, can you remember going to the Funko Pop booth?
That's
so
right.
It was sort of like, it was like an S snake shape, wasn't it? So you went into one end, grabbed things off a shelf, and then went to the end. And you have to. It was a lottery to get into the Funko shop. So even people who wanted to get in the shop can't get in the shop because there are going to be so many people. Same with Lego. Same with the Hasbro shop.
See, I don't get that logic. I don't get why
it's
they
to stop
think
people from having to queue all day. You look at what it was when we went to that celebration. We couldn't get into the actual official shop, could we?
No, we couldn't. Because when we did get in there, it was all gone.
There was hardly anything left.
Because they hadn't limited people to only buying 1 or 2 items. They let the collectors in and buying 50 at a time or whatever.
But then I was thinking that's what's going to happen with, say, the Funkos, is some guy's going to go in there and buy 50 of all of them, and then flog them to the people outside that haven't been able to get in.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
It is crazy, but to be fair, we didn't necessarily miss everything, did we?
We didn't.
Because if we queued in the morning, I mean, the only thing we had was a long wait for when everything opened, didn't we? We were sat in the concourse or whatever. Once we got our wristbands, sat in that concourse that Sunday. I thought
it was great. I thought it was a fantastic. And the fact that everybody, I mean, obviously this was pre-Last Jedi, everybody was just having so much fun.
Yeah.
The amount of people that dressed up, and not, it was like guys dressed up as Princess Leia, Princess Leia and stuff. It was just so much fun. It was a great weekend.
Yeah, but I don't get that. Let the fans that are committed who want to see those panels queue all night and let them go and see it. That's dedication. That shows fandom.
Well, that's
being
what you
a lottery,
need.
you might as well just buy a ticket and then just chuck in for a lottery and not worry about it.
Yeah, God bless Roy Castle. Dedication, that's what you need.
Dedication is what you need.
If you want to be a real brio.
So is Shazam something you'd go and see?
I would, yeah. I mean, there's a couple of films out at the moment that I want to see. I wouldn't mind seeing Us.
Well, I wanted to go and see that, of course, but Easter holidays, they bumped it up to the nighttime showing.
Yeah.
I had a choice of kiddie films, and that was it.
Don't say it like that.
No, that's a bit wrong, isn't it? I had a choice of family and children's films, so there was Peppa Pig movie on.
Oh, you should go and see that.
Do you imagine if I rocked up on my own?
And then you told the kids to shut up.
Can you please shut up?
I'm trying to watch Peppa Pig.
What else was on? Dumbo, which I'm not particularly.
I'm not interested in that.
I'm just worried that's going to upset me too much as well.
Mum will not even watch the trailer. As soon as the trailer comes on, she leaves the room.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah, that makes me sound like I'm still living at home. I'm not. This is when she's told me that if it's come, because she loves the original Dumbo.
Right.
It makes her so sad that she can't watch it.
Makes me sad.
Yeah, so even the trailer. Did you see the trailer for Lion King drop today?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Well, I watched you who posted it on our Facebook page.
Of course.
Yeah, I watched it there.
I think it looks stunning. It looks like same as Jungle Book. It looks stunning.
But they've even got shots. I noticed when they're walking along and
doing the Hakuna Matata. That was almost like shot for
shot, wasn't it? But I don't get the logic of calling it live action because it's all CGI.
Yeah.
Unless, I mean, obviously some of the places they filmed at is real places, so I suppose that's where they justify it, but no. And I don't know whether I mean, they're going to keep churning them out because they make $1 billion.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
So they're going to keep churning them out and it's easy money for Disney. But I've enjoyed them. I enjoyed Cinderella.
Yeah, I didn't.
Beauty and the Beast.
I never
went to the cinema to watch Cinderella. I waited to watch it at home, you know? And I thought it was all right. But then Beauty and the Beast, I did go and watch, and it was okay. It wasn't, but I still preferred the cartoon.
Yeah.
And I think when you speak to everybody, they all go off and watch it, but they still prefer the cartoon.
I don't think anything's going to beat the Lion King cartoon. It's one of my favourite.
It's a fantastic cartoon, isn't it?
Movies. Yeah.
Well, there's like Aladdin coming out this year as well, isn't there? Is that this year?
That does worry me because that's
Guy Ritchie.
Yeah. And
Guy Ritchie and his Cockney ways.
His last few movies have not been good.
What was his last movie? Was it King Arthur or was it
have you seen
Man
that?
from Uncle?
I think it's King Arthur was after that. It was awful.
No, I haven't watched it. I haven't bothered.
When you say that the best thing about a movie is a David Beckham cameo role, then you know you're in trouble.
Oh, that's painful.
And I don't know whether I feel sorry or think that Charlie Hunnam needs to get a new agent, but he makes some really bad decisions for movies.
Well, he does art house films, and then he obviously bumps it up with doing these big films like the King Arthur.
But I noticed that Papillon went straight to like pay-per-view or whatever you want to call it, like on demand.
I'm not sure whether that's a sign of a flop now. I think that's the way the movie studios are trying to push it, aren't they? Because that Ted Bundy film's coming straight to Sky.
I saw that.
May.
Yeah. Have you seen the documentary of that?
Yeah. Oh, God.
Oh, my
that's
God.
a great one, isn't it?
It's just the balls of the man.
Well, I read a book about him years ago. Well, it's in a book about serial killers, and it just took me I was just fascinated to find out what possessed them to do what they did. And they called him the gentleman killer.
Yeah.
He seduced people. They said he was really good looking. I mean, it didn't look it in the documentary. I was thinking, I don't get why they call him a good looking guy, but
I don't know. I mean, he obviously had charm, and he had this confidence, and
he just pulled the wool over everybody's eyes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy, wasn't it?
Crazy, but that's definitely. I'd like a good documentary. I do like a good documentary.
And that's good old Zac Efron. I like Zac.
You do like Zac?
I do actually, genuinely. I think he's a genuine bona fide sort of movie star.
Do you think so?
He hasn't done great movies, don't get me wrong. A lot of the films he's done can be complete diarrhea, but
I was thinking about this. I think we may have talked about that before, in the fact that there isn't anybody that you could say has got an absolutely perfect career.
No, not anymore.
The top hitters, Spielberg, De Niro, Pacino, they've all either made or been in absolute stinkers.
Well, that'd be interesting to see what Scorsese does with The Irishman on Netflix.
Yeah.
That's going to be an interesting one, to whether it will be the next Goodfellas with everybody together, or whether it's going to be a bit of a stinker.
Yeah. Now, the other thing is that we've both been, like, poorly soldiers.
Oh, man, two different things. We haven't called it off each other. Let's just emphasise that.
So what, over the last sort of... Well, I mean, I started off with a chest infection or something about 5-6 weeks ago.
Which obviously ran into the anniversary show because we had that... Yeah.
Oh, my God.
That was a worry.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what your point of view was. Because, obviously, I was... Just to explain it, we did a show 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it would be 3 weeks Saturday.
3 weeks ago as we're recording this. And normally at the end of the show, I do a bit of some duets with people. And then you come on and we sing a song and all this sort of stuff. And I'd had a cold the week before and I was trying to get rid of it. And so I thought, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into I found a little back toilet backstage, had my phone and was just trying to sing, and I couldn't hit certain notes and I was getting so stressed. What were you doing at that time? Apart from when I come and found you, what were you doing at that time?
I did a lot of in between, because that would have been the end of Memphis Sundogs into Binomial. So I had they had the mayor with the sound with Binomial.
Right.
So I'm talking away to the crowd, trying to find out where people had come from, say hello to everybody, and then whoever it was like, yeah, just quiet a minute.
Didn't you do the day-o?
No, I didn't do that. But it was quite fascinating because people were actually starting to communicate and talk to me, because they could see that obviously we were having a little bit of issue, and people were, where do you come from? Right from the back, and we were chatting away. And then suddenly I'm stood there like, because I had to be quiet. And then anyway, Binomial kicked off and off they went, and it went down a storm. So that would have been that one. What did I do then? And then when Binomial finished, you were on. So,
but what was you doing when I was backstage?
I was talking to a lot of the acts,
a nightmare.
Still in the back room.
Did you know where I was then?
Yeah, because I saw your children, and they said that you were down there. And then you came out, and I spoke to you, and I said, look. And I thought, well, I'll just leave you, because there's no point in me just, you're all right, and worse than it. I thought, if I just leave you to it and you get on with it, and if you can, you can. If you can't, you can't. We'll just have to deal with it when it happens.
I was so close to just saying, well, we can't.
I snuck down by the ladies' toilets. Nobody was on when Binomial were on. Walked round and was watching her. And then I was suddenly mobbed.
Really?
Yeah, it was really weird. Everybody suddenly noticed I was there, and they came over from all places. People that I didn't recognise.
Oh, right.
Come to say hello and everything. It was lovely.
Oh.
So I went back up. And of course, Binomial wanted us to dance on stage. Obviously, you were busy, so I got up and danced with Paul.
Oh, good.
Well, I was just behind him while he was singing, mimicking.
I bet you was.
I was mimicking his dances. He must have thought, why are people laughing?
Oh my God. But yeah, so then after that, I mean, for me, still just like every time I led down at night, coughing away, and so night I'm still sort of right on cue.
Yeah.
Got still a bit of a cough, and then ended up with a kidney infection,
Yeah,
which was
poor you.
lovely. It was
Painful, I can
it
imagine.
was- yeah. So, but then you had
Well, I would call it a flu-like virus. I don't want
Right.
to say I had the flu, because when people have proper full-on flu, they're usually wiped out for more than a week. It was flu-like symptoms. I had the temperature. Well, I started with a cold, went from a runny nose into a cold. I was still at work, and then I was woken up in the night by going hot and cold, and generally feeling like pants, and and then that just lasted all week. I stayed in bed for 2 days, and I've never done that. I can't do it normally, but I slept.
yeah.
I just kept sleeping and sleeping. And the only thing I've got now is get tired really quick still. So like today I've been walking a lot, and I came home and I was eating my tea, and I could feel my eyes going.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like, Jesus, come on, man. I've never had this, but I think it's a knock on from the illness.
So, what's been the worst illness or anything that you've suffered from?
Well, I've always suffered a bit with my ears, so that I get a lot of ear infections. And that's always nasty, because when you get an ear infection, if you remember, you're sick. You don't even need... That sounded Liverpool. Sick.
Sick.
Yeah, so I was, you're sick. So I've struggled with that throughout my younger years. Touch wood, I don't seem to get it so much now. Migraines I will suffer with, but few and far between. They're not as commonplace as they once were. But the illest, where I was hospitalised, was a kidney stone.
Really?
Yeah, 11 years old. At Easter,
Oh my God.
in the old hospital. So
Yeah.
your parents weren't allowed to stay like they are now. So you're shoved in with the sister, crying.
Oh, nice.
I can remember crying when I got there. Mum and Dad were there. They said, well, we've got to go now, because we're not allowed to be here, and we'll see you at 10 o'clock the next day. So I was right over like Good Friday. I was in there for about 4 or 5 days while they were trying to make the kidney stone pass. So that was one of my worst experiences. Hated it.
Yeah.
Hated it. And I wanted to watch Fun with, what's that, Jane Fonda and...
Fun with Dick and Jane.
Yeah, that was on TV. And I put it on, and I thought, well, I'll watch that. And the sister wouldn't let me watch it. She said it was too adult for me.
Did you go, oh, matron?
And I was just like, oh, well, so what am I allowed to watch? And she put some quiz. I always remember
Play
on
school.
BBC. No, because this was in the evening.
Oh, right.
So there wasn't even that many people in there. There was a couple of really young children, because I was in the children's ward. I wasn't allowed to get up and play, and I'd read everything I'd got, and so I thought, I'll watch TV, and they let me wheel the TV in, and then the sister came in and said, you're not watching this?
Was she Irish, was she?
Yeah, something like that. Well, they usually are, aren't they?
I don't know.
In the olden days, they were.
In the olden days.
Yeah, so, yeah, I can't remember what, it was some quiz, probably like University Challenge. And
Nice. With Bamba.
Yeah, and you feel so happy when you answer one question. Yes, I've answered one.
Oh, dear. Right, we're going to play a game.
Oh, I like games.
I got this when me and my wife
Oh,
went to the Golden Farm, a local pub, for Valentine's.
that seems so long ago, doesn't it?
It does seem
now?
so long ago. So these are like Mr. and Mrs. questions. But so it's to see how much. Well, actually.
Have you bruised your arm?
No, that's where I had my bloods taken.
Jesus.
It's weird because I've had my bloods taken a few times over the last 18 months, and I've never had it come up as a big.
God, they've made a proper thing with that, haven't they?
Yeah, so that's really I've not had it like that before. But thanks for noticing.
Yeah.
And then I was pressure washer in the back garden again today, and we got those sort of patio chairs.
Yeah.
I went and moved one and got one of my fingers caught.
That
And
really,
it wouldn't stop bleeding. I had to wrap a thing around it, and it was just underneath the fingernail.
it's the fingernails is one of the things that always makes me go, if you want to put me off a horror film, fingernails.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That Stir of Echoes with Kevin Bacon.
Oh yeah.
On the floor and her fingernails. Oh, so that's the one bit I have to turn away.
Yeah, it's not good.
Can't watch it.
Right. So I'm going to ask you. I mean, I'm not saying that you'll know
No.
these, same as I won't know the ones that you're going to ask.
Right.
But obviously, these are about. You have to find out about me.
Right.
You got to see if you know what my...
So if I ask you this question, so it says here, how many times did it take me to pass my driving test?
Right, so I should know,
How
because
many
I should
times?
know you
Yeah.
that well. So is that your question?
That's
is it?
my question
I'm
to
going to
you.
say once.
It was once, yeah.
Do you know for me?
Once?
It was once.
Yeah, yeah.
Well done.
I'm sure we've spoken about that.
Well, that's what we're
sure
going to
we
find
have.
out, how much we know about each other, see? So,
Yeah.
what is my most embarrassing moment?
Oh, now that's quite a good one. Would it be soiling yourself somewhere?
It is, actually.
I'm trying to think which one. Was it the one when you were in Swindon and had to nature poo?
No, and then people are going to wonder,
Yeah.
well, how many times is there? The fact you have to narrow it down.
Well, I can only think of that one, and I can remember you sharted or something. Was that right? Did you shart?
No, my most embarrassing one was on Breen Beach. I must have been, I don't know, 7 or 8 or 9, and we always used to go on holiday to Breen and stuff like that, and we were on the beachfront, and I said to my mum, I need to go to the toilet. She said, as it was back in what that would have been 70s, off you go then. So off I go to toilet, and and it was summertime, so there's loads of people around. Get to the public toilets, every single cubicle is full.
Oh no!
And I'm waiting and waiting, and I thought I can't wait anymore. And all of a sudden, it just happened. And then I sort of leant on one of the cubicles, and it was empty. The door had closed.
No.
So I ended up having to walk back to our mum and dad with shit running down my legs.
No.
So that was my most embarrassing
Oh,
moment.
bless you.
And I think our dad bollocked me, even though I was like, it was in total humiliation.
Oh, bless.
There you
Right,
go.
let's try this one.
Go on then.
Who's the better cook?
Ooh. Well, I've never tasted your cooking.
No, I don't think I've ever tasted yours, to be honest.
I don't think you have.
But by the sounds of what you cook is a lot more adventurous than what I do.
All right. So what sort of things do you? What would
I
you
do
say?
a lot of like pasta, but nothing. It's like pasta bakes. And,
Oh right. Okay.
I do a steak, but the way you've described how you cook a steak of being a mean steak, I think you'll probably top me on that. The thing I'm really good at is a roast dinner.
Yeah, I can do a roast dinner. I think the newest thing that I was really proud of cooking was that chicken parmesan.
Oh,
Which came out really. It was just like Gordon Ramsay's.
Oh, really?
It tasted lovely, and it looked just the same as
very
his.
nice.
So maybe I win that one then.
yeah, I think I'd give you that one.
Okay.
But I'm not. I wouldn't say I was a bad cook though.
No, that's
I
fair
think
enough.
I'm an average and pretty good cook. I used to try in the years gone by when I was married and everything like that. I used to try and experiment and cook things myself. So I'd find a recipe and try and do it from scratch. And it used to pretty much, I would say 80% of the time, come out pretty good.
Yeah.
And then I tried to get into baking. I wanted to have a go at some baking and try to make my own cookies. The cookies came out really well.
Cookies.
Yeah, I used to do cookies. I found this recipe online that was just, But the cakes, not so great.
No.
No, I used to suffer with a sticky bottom.
Story of your
Yeah.
life. Okay, what is my favourite restaurant?
Oh, you've probably been to so many that I don't know about and really like. That makes you sound like you're eating out all the time. I don't mean it like
That's
that.
why
But
I'm shitting all
likewise,
the time.
yeah. But likewise, when you're out on holiday and places like that, I'll go Bodine's in London because you're the one that recommended it to me, and that's become right up there.
I've only ever been there once.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
And it was because you
I mean,
recommended
it was gorgeous. I mean, the food was fantastic there.
Yeah.
I forgot what it was called. It's good, yeah.
Bodine's.
Bodine's.
There's one in where I went because you told me about it. There's also one in Soho now.
Oh, is there?
But yeah, I've been 3 times now, and it's become my favourite restaurant.
And that's like all barbecue
in London.
stuff. isn't
Oh,
it?
it's proper
my
American
God,
taste
yeah.
in there.
It's
They
gorgeous.
do a platter.
Right.
It's just a platter and it's however much, 18, 20 quid per person.
Right.
And they bring it out. And, I mean, it's obviously far too much food. But
Yeah. My favourite restaurant will have to be the Cottage of Content. Do you remember that?
But that's talking of portions.
I mean, it's long gone, unfortunately, but what a restaurant that was.
Yeah, it was like eating in somebody's front room, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was also like, because I was young when I went there, it was like the first place that I felt like I was a big boy, an adult, because I was allowed to have a steak there and stuff. And it was a bit the way that Andy
yeah.
at the Vaults and that used to do it, where they just bring piles of of veg and chips and
I
potatoes.
don't think I ever ate there, no matter whether it was on my own with my... Well, I never ate there on my own, per se, but whether I went with my mum and dad or whether I went with friends, I don't think I ever finished a meal.
No. It's just impossible.
Their food wastage must have been massive.
Yeah, it must have been. I mean, that's probably why they went out of business. Go on, then.
Let's have a look. How do I take my tea? You ever made me a cup of tea?
I've never made you a cup of tea. No.
Yeah, that's the only hot drink I really drink.
Is it?
Tea, but only in the morning. I don't tend to have it at night.
I would say you take it milk and 1 sugar.
That's how I used to take it.
Now it's milk and no sugar.
No, yeah. So
do you have sweeteners in there?
No, I've conditioned myself because not everybody carries a sweetener, and I thought, well, if you don't want to have sugar anymore and you go somewhere and they haven't got sweetener, you're screwed. So you need to get used to the taste without it, and I really have, and I enjoy it with no sugar now.
Right, okay. I don't know how you could drink it with no sugar.
Yeah, it's got fine. You get used to it.
The trouble is I tend to not... Tea for me is something that you have with something, like a breakfast.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Or,
or
biscuits.
I quite often have it in the morning with my breakfast, with me porridge.
Yeah, I don't have a cup of tea. I just started having porridge today. I had a big bowl of porridge today for my tea.
Fills you up.
Oh my God, didn't it fill you up?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I didn't eat all of it because I think I made a bit too much.
Right.
But I went and got myself some like Scottish oats and some.
So you're
honey.
not microwaving the porridge?
No. I'm microwaving the milk.
Yeah.
That's how I do it. I microwave the milk, put the oats in, and then a little sprinkle of honey.
Because I mean, we both have tried with our weight and diets and things like that. Do you remember on the Slimming World they did an overnight oats thing? I was told if you do a similar thing, put your porridge oats in milk and leave it overnight and then cook it in the morning. It's a whole different thing. And that's from a Scottish lady.
In a whole different thing is in what way?
Taste.
Oh,
with
right,
the porridge.
okay.
It's a lot nicer. It's what they say, it comes out a lot creamier. And
Okay.
I haven't tried it yet because I'm on the microwave porridge.
Right. But yeah, I mean, it was for a big, massive bag. It's only £2 in Tesco's for a big bag. So, okay, this is an easy one for you. Then, what is my favourite film?
Star Wars.
Which one?
A New Hope.
Well done. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yours is Peppa Pig.
Yeah, it is. Well, you're close with what yours is.
So yours is Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, I'd probably put that as my all-time favourite. Because remember that years gone by when we did the movie Heaven and I did mine. My movie Heaven was Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, but it isn't my favourite of all-time films. It's the film I can watch the most.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. But I've been thinking of that again recently, and I was wondering if it was changed. And if somebody was to say to you, do a top 10, do you think you could?
Probably. And that's not to say that like in next week it would be probably completely different. Because I watched 3/4 of Field of Dreams last week.
Oh, really?
And I was crying at the end. And I've seen that film God knows how many times. And the film finished, and I said to my wife, I said, "What a great film!
It's
what a great
amazing
film that
film.
is!" And I hadn't seen it for a long time, and it is just one of those perfect films.
I haven't seen it for ages. Really, haven't seen it.
What a great film!
Is it on one of the streamers?
It's on it was on Sky where I saw it.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
That's made me want to watch it now,
it
but
is
I'll end
such
up
a
like
good-
you, blubbing.
Such a good film. Right, if I had to take one thing to a desert island, what would it be?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, let me have a think. One thing to a desert island. Your porridge oats. No, what? I don't know that one. I really don't know what you would take. Do you think you can answer that if I?
I think for you, I think you have to have some sort of stipulations on this that it can't be anything like photos of your family or.
No.
I mean, obviously I've asked a question, but to ask a question for rules, do we have electricity on the island? Would you say?
Well, I think we'd have to, because then I think we'd both be a TV, wouldn't we?
I think mine might be an iPad.
All right.
As long as
You have to have internet, though, wouldn't you?
But that's what I'm saying. So would you have internet?
Well, let's say we're not. It's a proper desert island. Then what would you take?
What with no
electric,
or nothing? Oh my God, a stack of porn.
Yeah, I was going to say probably a box of matches or a lighter.
Oh yeah, something like that might be.
Once you get the fighter going.
There's me thinking I'm not going to use my imagination. I'll just be really, really cold, but I'll just be wanking all the time.
Well, you'll be fine. You'll keep yourself warm. They say to do it.
You know, Bear Grylls, I'm sure he doesn't mind doing something like that just to keep himself warm.
I was going to say, but if you got heat, then porno.
Heat magazine?
Yeah.
No.
Is that still going?
I don't think it is.
Right.
None of those lad mags are going anymore, are they?
Was Heat? It wasn't a lad. It was more of a gossip.
I don't know.
Went into a lady sort of magazine. A lady magazine.
So you had like Nuts, didn't you? And Loaded and all
Nuts
those.
and Zoo.
Zoo was the other one. They were more your lads magazines.
I always remember. I never bought them, but I always used to have a browse because at the stage I was working at WH Smith's and always had a browse. And they used to have a section called "Rate My Boobs," where readers' wives would send in their boobs and everybody would vote on them.
Really?
Yeah. And they did it online in the end. And I used to always have a little look at that. And I'd join in. Let's join in and say they're good boobs.
I miss those days.
Not so good boobs. That's in the days when you were allowed to do it.
Can't get away with it these days.
No.
Go on then.
Hashtag me too.
Hashtag me too.
Who is my celebrity crush?
Ooh. John Inman?
Wrong one.
Mr. Revolve.
Mr. Grace. You did very well.
You did very well.
Because he had those ladies with him.
He did. Candy Davis was one of them, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah?
I remember her for a couple of reasons. Hashtag me too. I'm going to say Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, I think it is there. Jennifer Lawrence. I think Scarlett Johansson for me is above Jennifer Lawrence. There's her. Who else was I thinking? I really like, and I don't know whether I'm different for this, but
Probably.
Saoirse Ronan.
Saoirse Ronan.
I find her really attractive for some reason.
Right.
And I've never heard her termed as being really attractive. But there's something about her face.
No, because she always plays very plain kind of women.
But when I've seen her on like the Graham Norton show and other interviews and that, she's such a laugh. She always comes across as really bubbly. And I've always just thought, yeah, she's becoming my new little piece. Is that politically correct? Am I allowed to say that?
No, I don't think you can say that.
Damn! I thought we could go back to the 90s. No, she's very attractive. Emma Stone?
Emma Stone looks nice.
Yeah. It's those eyes, though, more than anything else, isn't it? She's got stunning eyes.
Although, see, this is again the thing of our time. I feel like people are going to go, just listen to those 40-something guys.
Lusting after young ladies.
Yeah, just objectifying these young ladies.
But it's not objectifying, it's saying that you find them really attractive. How can that be objectifying?
Pervert.
Yeah. But then throughout the dawn of time, men are always going to find certain women attractive. So it doesn't matter that I'm 40 and she's in her 20s. I'm still finding her attractive. It doesn't mean I'm going to go out there and try and date her or whatever.
I thought you were going to say something else then.
But you're not, are you? You just...
Well, no, but then... But
you're allowed to find somebody attractive, and it's almost like the Benny Hill thing, isn't it? Where you got the really old man that's always lusting after the young woman. But that, I'm afraid...
Is that right, though?
That's not right, but what I'm saying is you're never going to get that thing away. And as long as it's not creepy, you can still find somebody attractive and say she's really pretty and things like that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah, there you go.
Up with men.
Yeah, let's bring it back to us. Let's stop these shits ruining these horrible men that ruined it for the normal men.
Exactly. Give us back your rights, you shits.
Yeah.
Right, you got a question then?
I have. No, that was mine. Who was my celebrity crush? Who's yours then?
Right. I don't know. I mean, Hayley Atwell, I think, is very, very nice.
Oh, yeah, Peggy.
Peggy. Peggy Main, of course, as well. Peggy Main.
How many other famous Peggies are there?
But I mean, Jennifer Lawrence for me. See, and it's not just about looks with Jennifer Lawrence. I think
it's her personality as well.
She just looks like somebody that would be just so much fun to sort of be with and to go out with and stuff. She just looks like she could be one of the lads.
Exactly what I said about that. Saoirse Ronan. But I wouldn't be able to talk to her because every time I said her name, I'm going to be doing it like that. Yeah. It's just finding their personality attractive as well as their looks, and that's a
yeah.
Well, I
don't believe that.
I nearly said something. And I thought, no, I won't say it.
No. Okay, what is your favourite body part? Right.
Oh.
Hang on, I've
got to think about this. I'm thinking.
So you're thinking what I think my favourite body part is.
You got to think what yours is.
I got to think what yours is.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think what mine is.
Right. I think yours is your nose.
Really?
Yeah, you have a very strong-looking nose.
Well, that's very kind. I've
Well,
never even
you got
thought
a very,
about my nose.
Well, I say you got a very fit-looking nose
Mm.
because it's always running.
Yeah, hey, hey, I like that one. Okay,
Oh,
I've never
dear.
really thought about my nose. Well, it's my legs. I've always been all right with my legs.
Right.
Because when I was younger, I did a lot of sport. My legs always seemed to get the muscle. Nowhere else did. Everything else was like the doughboy. But my legs were always quite muscly,
Oh,
so I was
right,
always
okay.
quite proud of them. So I used to wear shorts all the time.
Oh, I bet you did.
The 80s shorts.
Yeah, with the shuttlecock down the
Yeah,
front.
no, we don't do that. So, so body part for you, I think it would be. You got nice eyes.
That's what I would say.
Yeah,
I would say
you
it's
got
my
really
eyes.
nice eyes. There you go.
I feel like we should have the fire on and we should have some roses and stuff.
Rosé.
Some rosé, indeed.
Right, we'll make this the last, mine and then yours the last ones, because then we can save these for other times.
Yeah.
Who hogs the duvet?
Well, see, I'm not a person that I tend to get quite hot in bed.
Right.
So I like to have the duvet off my legs and stuff. So
Oh, you're very much like me then.
yeah.
I
So
always
we'll
have my
probably
legs
end
up.
up with just the duvet right in between us.
Yeah,
Not that we haven't had it like that before.
Yeah, I'm not, and I'm a very still sleeper. Me, apparently.
Are you?
Yeah, I don't move that much in the night.
Apart from like
snoring. I'll snore the house down.
Yeah.
But
That was one of the things when we had our business trip to LA back in 2014,
you could hear it through the
was
room.
it? That was like 2014, 2015?
That was 2014.
2014, that
Yeah.
was. One of the best decisions we made was to have separate
I told you that.
rooms.
But also, I used to worry because I used to sleepwalk.
You said, I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought I can't share a room because if I get up and walk, it'd be so
I can't
embarrassing.
think of anything more scary than sleepwalking.
I don't go miles. Apparently, I've found myself in the bathroom. I don't do it so much now, whether it's something I'm growing out of, but it was never far. I'd find myself just on the sofa. So I'd gone to bed normally, and then when I woke up in the morning, I'm on the sofa, which is always a bit bizarre.
Have you ever done something like sort of get your knob out and start weeing and stuff?
No. But it does remind me, I won't say his name, a friend of mine from many moons ago. We went to stay at his parents' new house, and he hadn't lived at home for a little while, and we went out for drinks, and he got absolutely rat-assed. I was not so bad, and we went to bed, and he didn't wake me up. He got out of his bed, and his mum and dad woke him up because he was pissing on their bedside cabinet. Literally with his dad led right next to that bedside table, and he was pissing on it.
What do you know what you're doing?
Well, he said in his mind he'd gone into the toilet and lifted the seat. He said, I can still vision it now. I'd done it. But I literally pissed over his alarm clock and drink of water.
But when you've done it,
No, I got no recollection. I don't know.
It's just like it's like being asleep.
Yeah, it's perfectly asleep. And I also have a strange thing that people find quite thing. If I doze off in a chair, my eyes don't fully shut, but they go like a little bit
that's
white.
Creepy.
I don't know. That's a family thing because my uncle does it and people like that.
So So when you go sleepwalking, do you wake up when you're out of bed, or do you get yourself back into bed?
No, quite often it would be out.
And then you wake up and you'll sort of go, "What am I?"
I don't usually stay. I will walk out. So my typical thing would be, let's say I come out of my bedroom, go through to my front room. I'll get on the sofa and go back to sleep. But I have no recollection that. But apparently I'm asleep from when I get up to when I get on the sofa. So when people have seen me do it, family members and that, yeah.
Because isn't it supposed to be dangerous if you wake somebody up?
I've never been woken up, so I don't know. I always wake up when I get up in the morning, if you see what I mean.
Right.
Yeah.
But you've never been. See, but how do you? So you obviously wake up when you're sleepwalking.
Yeah.
It's not somebody else.
Oh
waking you up
no!
then.
I'm asleep as I'm walking.
Yeah. So so what do you do then? You wake up
when I finish sleeping. So if I've never gone anywhere bizarre. I've gone into the bathroom and ended up on the bathroom floor.
Right.
On the, like the bath mat, and woke up because it's got so hot in the bathroom. That's been the furthest I've sort of gone. Whereas I've heard about people that go right outside.
Well, yeah. There's people that say that they murder people when they're sleepwalking.
Yeah, they have to be careful. But
I
it's
find
part of an overactive imagination and things like that. They say.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, but I haven't done it for years now. Not for years. I can't say I've really woken up. Like I say, the most common place I woke up was on my sofa. So come the morning, my alarm would be going off in the bedroom, which would arouse me, would rouse me, would arouse me, and I'd wake up and I'd suddenly think, "Shit, what am I doing here?" And it's really bizarre because you know perfectly well the night before you've gone to bed because everything's there. Your phone's all plugged in, your alarm's on, your glass of water you go to bed with is right beside you.
Have you ever used anything to get yourself to sleep? Like these sleep tapes or
well, I've actually taken a sleeping tablet which was prescribed to me many moons ago for various things.
Did that work?
Oh god, yeah, but I could see why people get addicted to them as well. But I only had a very short course of them because I was literally insomniac at the time.
Right.
I wasn't getting any sleep at all. So yeah.
So I know it's not the same. It's not the same level, but I was using like that night nurse when I had that chest infection to get to sleep, and that seemed to work. But it's almost like my brain fights against it because I know I've taken something to get to sleep. If that makes sense. And I find it. There are sometimes I find it really hard to get to sleep.
Yeah.
But it's because, and all of a sudden my brain starts thinking of really horrible things.
Right.
That's going to happen to my family.
Okay.
And it's sort of like it opens a door.
And then your mind goes.
And then there's, especially on a Sunday night, when you have that Sunday night feeling, I mean, it's different for you because you work on a Sunday as well, but Sunday night to me always still feels like it's Sunday before you go back to school on the Monday.
You see, now, I used to get that in all my other jobs. When I had a Sunday off, I got it. Now I work every Sunday, I don't get it.
You don't get it?
No, it's gone.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter how tired I am. It'll get to like whatever time I get to bed, 10 o'clock, 10:30. I won't get to sleep till probably at least midnight.
Yeah, right.
Because I keep thinking of, every time I close my eyes, I'll tell you, it happened again a couple of nights ago because I had to go to the doctor yesterday, so it would have been the night before. Yeah, whatever day it was. And I told you about the fact that I found a couple of like funny lumps.
Yeah.
Sort of on various places of my body. This is funny lumps.
Self-explanatory.
And straight away, what you do, as everybody does these days, I went straight onto Google.
Yeah,
have a look on Google.
Dying.
And the thing is, it says on Google that if they are lumps that when you touch them, they don't hurt. When you like press them, you need to be worried because if they hurt, then they're probably just like a bruise or something like that. If you like squeeze them and there's no feeling, then you need to get yourself to a doctor. And I thought, oh, for fuck's sake, all I could think of was the C word. That's all I could think of because I've got like 2 or 3 of them sort of on various parts of my body that I'm thinking, well, this isn't good, you know. So I go to the doctor and the doctor has a little feel. It's nothing. It's just imagine it's like gristle on a bit of meat. Yeah, that's all it is, you know.
Because there's a thing, I can't remember what they're called, that people quite often get on their forearms. I think I've got one starting now.
I've got one. I've got one there.
And years ago, my doctor was telling me, because I went about mine, and the doctor said to me, years ago, they used to call it you whack with a Bible to get rid of it. A heavy Bible.
Right.
So they used to whack a book onto it to flatten it.
Really?
That was a cure. I mean, they don't recommend you do that anymore. But this is years ago. But
I was going to ask you to give me a good whacking.
And they're very common. I'll give you a good whacking.
But see, this is what, because I've got 2 sort of like, if you had a 6-pack, where the 6-pack would be. And I thought, because I've lost a little bit of weight, maybe that's a 6-pack coming through. And then I thought to myself, you fucking idiot. There's no way that's the actual case.
Oh, I love it.
No, but, it's... You know, I don't like being ill. And the last sort of probably 18 months, probably 2 years, I've had sort of my fair share. They haven't been major illnesses. That's the trouble.
Yeah, they come through thick and fast.
And it seems like as soon as, especially things like colds, especially if you like singing, it's the one thing you don't want to get is a cold.
No.
And I hadn't had a cold for a long, long time, and then I sort of got 2 in quick succession. But then when you think and you sit back and you think about it, and I think about it, I've never, touched wood, probably tempting fate, I've never had to been in a hospital to sort of stay over for anything. I've been very lucky about those kind of things.
Even when you were a kid?
Yeah, no, I've never broken a bone.
Right, so
the nearest I had was when I caught my ring on a nail, and squashed my finger.
Yeah.
That's the nearest that I've been to having like a major thing where they said that if it had gone any more, it would have popped my finger off, and I'd have been, I'd have had a finger less or whatever.
Right.
But I've been very lucky in the fact I've not had any real major. You think of all of the horrible things that can happen. And
do you think doctors say that, like your finger and that, to make you think, to give you that sort of story to be able to tell? Because you hear a lot of people say, well, if I'd been cut just an inch further and all of that, you hear a lot of it, don't you? And then
I mean, that must have been a good 15 odd years ago, 15, 20 years ago that happened. And I don't know whether I'm just adding to the legend of it, No,
but it might be quite true, and doctors do say that sort of thing. But I reckon it's sort of a thing where they say, if we tell them this, it'll make them seem quite heroic.
Yeah, well, maybe. I mean, I always class that I'm a pussy whenever I hurt myself. I mean, with that, it was the fact that when my mum and dad owned the pub, they had a climbing frame where I don't think it was them that did it, but the people before. The tops of beer barrels used to have those plastics, so like a Foster's a Tennant's or whatever, little plastic cap.
Yeah.
So they nailed them to this climbing frame. So all of these things had perished or just been ripped off or whatever. But the nails were still there, and I was chasing I think I was chasing Jazz, my first daughter, or it might have even been Jess,
right?
The stepdaughter, and I put my hand on the frame. Went to go and run, and then my wedding ring got caught in one of the nails, and of course I ran away, and it scraped. It literally the wedding ring went and sort of squashed my finger, and then ripped all the skin around my finger. So I'm looking at it, and I couldn't see bone, but you could see there was like blood and all this sort of stuff. I still got some scars there.
Yeah,
my war wounds. But like our old chap and my missus were just pissing themselves laughing. Even when I showed them, I said, look. And Mrs. went, I'll get you to the hospital. And then you get to the hospital, and then this nurse comes over, and they give me some painkillers, and they sort of put some stuff to wash it off. She comes straight over, does this hurt? And pokes it.
Oh, yeah, when they did.
I went, yes, of course it hurts. But they had to cut my wedding ring off. And
oh, no.
It was, but that's when they said that it had squeezed. If it had squeezed any more, then the finger would have just, like, at the knuckle, the finger would have gone.
But then people give that reaction I just gave you, which makes you cringe.
Yeah, and then you go, I feel quite brave.
Well, I do. So no. I mean, I've had the same thing. I mean, I'm not that squeamish when I do it to myself. Can't watch other people with injuries. Yeah. Can't watch anything on TV that has operations and that. I'm not really that keen on watching it. But I was led in my first house. I was led on my sofa and I had my glass on the floor. Completely, I'd sort of doze in watching. I was watching Buffy and Angel, catching up on those when they were being broadcast. Stood off of the sofa straight onto my glass, went straight in my foot, broke. But the thing is, I hadn't been in there that long, and it was cream carpet. Have you ever cut your foot?
No.
Man, that bleeds.
Does it?
That bleeds. That's like the night out of Holy Grail bleeding. Like that. So I had to rip the carpet up the next day. I'd ruined the carpet with my blood. But
oh my God.
Yeah, that. I had to hospitalise myself for that. But I wasn't in.
No.
And they put stitches in the bottom of your foot.
Yeah, see, I've never had so that's stitches where they're actually stitching you up.
Yeah.
I see, I've never had proper stitches. I've only ever had like what they call the butterfly stitches and stuff.
But I drove myself to hospital.
Did you?
With my foot like that.
That's crazy.
So it was the right foot, and I bandaged it, and then put this sticky like gaffer tape round this towel, and drove with that because I was on my own. I had nobody else, and it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and off I went.
That's mental. I ruptured my calf muscle playing football once.
Right.
That was in Swindon. I had to drive from Swindon to Siren Hospital somehow. Like, I can't even remember how I did it.
Yeah, you just do, don't you? Because you need to get there, so you just do everything you can to get there.
I've had those kind of. I mean, I had that trouble with my knee a couple of years ago, and then having to drive from fucking Cornwall all the way home in the pouring rain.
Oh.
And I hadn't had no sleep the night before because I'd done a gig there, and I ended up going to a service station, and I can remember it was absolutely pissing with rain, and I was so tired, I went and got some painkillers, and then just come out and tried to fall asleep for like half an hour, and then thought, no, I just need to get home. Let me get home. And then I was off work for like 5 weeks.
That's
after
right, I
that.
remember
Oh
that.
my God, that was shocking.
Yeah.
But then you look at it and you think the people that go through proper illnesses, I think I've been very, very lucky in the nearly 50 years of being alive.
But that's the thing. I think in our mind we forget that we're getting to the age group that we're at, where things are going wrong now.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I still feel like I'm 18.
Oh, the mind always tells me that.
It's like, yeah, you can do that, and then I do it, and then I think, fuck, I really shouldn't have
The
done that.
saddest thing is I've got, so what are we in now? April? No, May? April.
Yeah, we're in April now.
April. So I've got 3.5 months before I can get my Sun Life over 50 plan.
Yeah.
I can get a free pen.
Did you think about it much? Turning 50. Is it something you think about?
It's not anything I think about.
No, not me. It's just a number, isn't it?
The year that I actually felt genuinely depressed when I hit was 25.
Was it?
Yeah. And Mrs. done a surprise party. All the family were here. And I think I went up to bed at like 8:30, 9 o'clock. Absolutely bummed out.
But you'd hit 25?
I don't know why. I don't know why it was 25 that,
Quarter of a
that hit me.
century.
I don't know. Or maybe I'll feel the same when I hit 50. But it's people say that I don't look 50 and stuff like that. And like you say, for the things that we do, all the podcasts and stuff and that, we don't act like we're 50.
No.
Do you know what I mean? We've got stuff that we do that means that we don't have to pretend to be 50. But then when you look at it, say 30 years ago, being 50 would be pipe and slippers,
Yeah.
sit by the fire, do your work, sit by your fire, and that's it. That's what you do.
Yeah, you see.
It's not like that these days for a 50-year-old.
No.
It's not like that really for a 70-year-old. You look at our old chap, and him and our mum are off doing
Well, I was going
stuff.
to say, my dad is 75 this year. I can't believe it, and he's still working.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think
Absolutely.
there has to be there's no reason to stop things. I think if you look at things like pensions and stuff, I'm not going to get really, really down, but it means you're going to have to work to a later age unless you're very lucky. But why stop if you're enjoying stuff?
Exactly. Don't stop.
Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop. It'll soon be here.
Yeah.
It'll be here better than before.
Stop right now.
Thank you very much. Oh, dear. Yeah.
Wow.
So I think we put the world to rights a little bit.
Yeah, we'll have another go, I think, one day. Next week.
Next week?
Should we put the world to rights next week?
I think we should put the world to rights. Let's.
That's been a lot of fun, that is.
Well, it's nice to just
shoot the shit.
shoot the shit, and not chat about anything definite, and maybe.
Yeah, we better get away, move out and let Melvin brag in.
I don't think it sounds.
It reminds me of something like that.
I don't
World
know.
in action.
Anyway, thank you very much for listening. You can subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts,
Oh, please do.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Pavo and Neil. And if you want to email us, maybe give us something to talk about, or just
Or if you want to come and talk with us one day, let us know what you could bring to the party.
Indeed. So just email us, pavoneil@hotmail.com. That's it for the first episode, mate.
I really enjoyed that.
I enjoyed it too.
It's like a therapy.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do.
That'll do.
Right. Cheers, everyone.